Hi, and thank you for joining us for the Resident Assistant Resource Center Assistant Informational Session. My name is Lauren Silverstein, and I am the Residence Hall Director at University Hall.
Hello, my name is Matt Dishman. I'm the Program Administrator for Faculty Programs here in ResLife.
And Matt and I are both members of the Paraprofessional Recruitment and Selection Committee, and that committee is who oversees the RA and RCA appointment process. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about what that process looks like, what you'll need to do to apply, and what you can anticipate throughout. So here we go. Let's talk to you a little bit about who we are as a department. So our mission is to create a space where we are committed to providing quality services and programs that enhance residential student success in safe and inclusive living and learning communities. What that means to us is that we're creating a home for everybody here on the NYU campus, a place where people can feel safe, feel welcome, feel like they have a place to go that is supporting them both as students and as people. So we do that through creating communities that are focused on global citizenship. We want to make sure that our communities represent who we are and that we represent a lot of the world, and that we can live together in a good and productive way. And we focus really on inclusive community, on a student-centered philosophy, so that everything we do is really based on students and what students need. We have a learning and innovation and wellness commitment. And so what that means for us is that we're really trying to meet the student as a whole person, not just as a student, not just as a resident, but as a whole human being who has a wide variety of needs. So we'll talk more about what that looks like as we go along.
See, some requirements before you become a resident assistant and join our team. A few things you should know. To be a resident assistant, you need to be a full-time NYU student, as well as being an upperclassman student. You need to be a junior or senior or a graduate student. Sophomores are not eligible to be resident assistants here at NYU. You also need to be within good standing within the university. You need to have a minimum GPA requirement of 3.0. And you need to have successfully completed the rally process, which is our interview process. It's a several week-long interview process, and we're going to go into that in depth within this webinar. You should also know that a term length is a full academic year, as well as that we do have one semester roles, specifically at 3rd Avenue North and at our global sites in London and Shanghai.
One good thing to know about being a junior or senior or grad student to be within the role is just that you can, if you are going to be studying abroad for your sophomore year, go through the rally process as a first-year student. We'll just put your application on hold for the following year's worth of appointments. Otherwise, you do need to be at least a sophomore to go through rally. So now that we've talked about that, a little bit about how to be successful within the position. First and foremost is having a positive attitude. We want people who can work with people. That's what the whole position is about. That's what we do. So you don't have to be all sunshine and roses all the time, but we do want people who have a good, genuine, positive spirit, positive attitude, who enjoy working with other people. We want somebody who has a sense of responsibility. You are responsible to your community, to other residents, to your team members, to our department. And so we want you to be able to take that seriously and to take pride in that. To bring creativity and energy, we want to be really clear. You do not need to be a big, bold extrovert to be successful in this position. That's not what we're talking about when we suggest having energy. We just want folks who can come in and bring a good sense of themselves and passion into what you're doing, to be creative in the ways that you program, the ways that you reach out to other residents, the ways that you make sure that you're a really active part of our community. With that, we want folks who have a good sense of commitment and dedication. The position is in a positive way, but realistically consuming. You're going to be around students a lot. There's a lot that we'll want you to be a part of and sometimes that we ask of you. And so we want to make sure that you are fully committing to the role and what we expect of you. And we want folks who have good judgment, who can either know how to ask for help, who can make good, quick decisions, who know who to ask when you don't know, and who take a good sense of responsibility in making sure that they are being thoughtful about all of that. So a broader view of what this looks like, we want folks who have interpersonal skills, who can think well and critically, who make ethical decisions. You will have access to sensitive information sometimes, or will be a person that students come to. We want to make sure that you are making your choices both thoughtfully and responsibly. So with that, having some common sense and competence, we can teach you how to do the job. We can teach you how to do what's expected of you, but we want you to come in with just a good sense of, right from wrong, and an ability to make those choices, and just sort of have a good understanding of how the world around you works. We want folks who are reflective and resourceful, who can be creative, who can be thoughtful. Flexibility is very important in this position. Things happen all throughout the day and in the evening, and we want you to be able to kind of respond as needed, to be non-judgmental and open-minded. We're not asking you to like everybody, but we are asking you to treat everybody respectfully and to try and see where everybody's coming from. To have good communication skills, that can look like a lot of things, but we want you to be able to actually talk to people. So if you don't like talking to people, this might not be the right role for you. We want you to be approachable. Again, we're not looking for all extroverts. We just want people in these positions who residents will feel comfortable talking with and trusting. To be empathetic and creative. To be trainable is very important to us. Like we said, we don't expect that you're going to know how to do everything that is expected of you in the position. We do expect that you're going to be open to letting us help you understand how to do that, both through the trainings that we'll lead throughout the year and through ongoing supervision throughout the school year. We want folks who are responsible, who are hardworking, who have good administrative skills. The less glamorous or the less obvious part of the RA position is sometimes the paperwork or the administrative tasks that come with it, but those are really important to us as well. And so we want folks who can be responsible and who can sort of figure out how to manage those. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and to be willing to take those chances, to put yourself out there, to try things that are unfamiliar, and to be open to that. To be professional, self-aware, enthusiastic, and motivated. You really can be anyone. You can have a lot of different interests. You can have a wide range of personality types. What we really care about is that you care about doing this role well, and that enthusiasm and motivation is really important. Inclusivity also, making sure that residents feel respected no matter who they are, no matter how they identify, that you're really giving them the time and care and attention that they deserve, and making sure that you're creating spaces that are thoughtful about everybody in advance of creating that opportunity. And the last thing we always like to talk about is that you have a good sense of boundaries. When you live where you have a role, where you work, it can be really hard to sometimes set up those boundaries. We will do everything we can to help you understand that, but we also want to make sure that you know how to say no, or to create spaces for yourself that are good at taking care of who you are. So that's a lot. We always go through more in the actual rally process. You'll learn more, but we wanted to make sure to give you a quick overview.
What are some leadership experiences that you may have that would be successful as an RA? Well, we want you to think critically about the experiences you have that you could share within our interview process. And so some things to think about. Where have you been involved on campus here at NYU? How have you worked with teams, both in the classroom, outside of the classroom? We're not looking for any specific experience or any set of experiences, but we want you to be able to vocalize and share these things within your interview. So some things that we share here for you to think about: maybe you've been involved in hall council, maybe you've been involved in a club at NYU. You know, what was your involvement within those clubs, and how did you help that club or lead that club? What role did you play on working on a school project or a project outside of school? Just general teamwork. You know, what role do you play on a team, and how can you share that, and how is that transferable to being an RA? We also would like to specify welcome and leaders and ambassadors. If you've ever served in those positions, we'd like to know that. You learned, what skills have you gained within those positions, and how could that apply within residential life? Any general positions on campus, whatever that may be, work positions, volunteer positions, working with faculty, etc. Those are things to think about, and those are transferable skills that could help you as a resident assistant. So we want to know that.
We always like to say, you might not have gotten involved in anything on campus yet, and that's okay. You shouldn't be discouraged from applying for the position. We just want to make sure that you know coming in that we'd like you to be able to talk to us about how you work in a group, how you work on a team, and any opportunities you may have had for leadership. Okay.
What would you receive if you joined our team? Well, we think some clear beneficial outcomes are gained by working as a resident assistant within residential life. You get clear leadership experience. You'll be able to speak upon that leadership experience in future interviews. You gain a sense of community. A lot of our paraprofessionals will tell you that their team really becomes family. You live and work with one another in the same buildings, and so community is formed around those teams. You'll gain good communication skills. You'll constantly be communicating with your residents, with your supervisors, with faculty in your building. You'll gain crisis management skills. You'll be in charge of the safety and well-being of your students within your building. And so you'll gain skills, you'll interact with crisis, and you'll respond to crisis. You'll gain administrative skills. As Lauren said, there's already some nitty-gritty admin responsibilities in the RA position, but those are transferable to future job opportunities and something you will take away. You'll definitely gain event planning experience. All our paraprofessionals and RAs are expected to program for people on their floors and in their buildings, and so you will gain valuable event planning experience both within your building and around the city. Confrontation and mediation skills, very applicable, either in the workplace or just in life in general. You will be expected to facilitate meetings with your residents, roommate disagreements, things like that. You'll gain just general friendships and mentorship. You'll work directly with faculty in your building and with supervisors in your building. I don't think in any other job in college would you have such direct leadership, mentorship, and supervision that really care for you, and those will really hopefully turn into mentorship opportunities. In general, you'll just have fun team development opportunities and activities around the city within your building. We like to have a lot of fun in Res Life, and we promise that you will too. And within this role, you would get a grant equal to housing and dining costs, so it is financially beneficial to you and would help you a lot here as a student.
We always like to say that if the only thing that is driving you toward this position is the housing and dining, which we understand is a really huge benefit, but if that's the only thing that's really interesting to you here, we don't know that this position is necessarily right for you. There's just a lot more that goes into it, and we want to make sure that you're coming in not just for that, but because you really care about being around people and having all of these experiences that are listed here on this screen. To clarify a question that we often get, the way that it works for the grant is that you will be, like Matt said, given the grant that is equal to the cost of housing and dining. This means that you will have a single bedroom. Depending on the building, you could have a studio apartment all to yourself, or you may have a private bedroom within a suite and have some suite mates. It really depends from building to building, but no matter what, you have your own private bedroom. And then a fully comprehensive meal plan. So it's actually a pretty great addition to all the other stuff you'll get. Okay, so here's what it looks like. This is why we say if the only thing you're interested in is the housing and dining, this is what you have to do on top of all of that, and we want to make sure that you understand clearly what we expect. So time commitment is about 20 hours a week, and some weeks it'll maybe be a little bit more, some weeks a little bit less, but in general we see about 20 hours a week. So you'll do a lot normally, things like programming, hosting events, tabling in our lobbies to help promote things, to get to know residents, to help with campus initiatives, regular interactions with residents. So this could come from formal meetings that you'll have, or just day-to-day, hi, hello, how are you? Let's have dinner. Let's hang out in the hallway and talk. It really, it varies from person to person and day-to-day. You will have weekly team meetings. Every paraprofessional has a meeting at 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday nights across campus, so we all meet at the same time every week. There are bi-weekly or bi-monthly one-on-ones with your supervisor, so you'll meet at least once every other week and get, like Matt said, some really individualized supervision that we think is important and special about what we do. All RAs in particular serve on our duty rotation. This is one of the things that resource center assistants do not do, but RAs do take care of the building at night. They'll do rounds of the building to make sure that policies are being enforced, that everybody's safe, responding to crisis after hours. And then there are administrative tasks, resource center shifts, staffing fire drills, things like that. So basic administrative work. Really the core difference between the RA and the RCA position is that RCAs work primarily through the Resource Center. They work most directly with our Resource Center, our Residence Hall Resource Managers and our office assistants, and then they also liaise with the RA team. So they attend team meetings, they sort of work with both groups, but their role is more specifically administrative and Resource Center oriented. They'll do some programming, but they are never on duty, and the crisis response is pretty minimal, if at all. Everybody, like we said, has team meetings on Wednesday nights from 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. Those are non-negotiable and required of you, as are Resource Center and duty shifts, regular and holiday. So we have RAs on duty all year round during Thanksgiving break, spring break, winter break. No matter what the time of year, there's always an RA. Every team does their best to divide that equitably and to try and work with people's schedules and needs, but it is a requirement of the position. And then we have a few different trainings. So if you're appointed to a position, we start out with RA 101 in the spring, usually in April. And then we do fall training the week leading up to move-ins, so late August. And we also do a winter development weekend the weekend before classes start at the end of January. So we do ongoing training all throughout the year. All of those are required of you and of the position. Okay. So RALI, the Resident Assistant Leadership Institute. This is separate from the RCA application process, which is going to be posted online after the RA process closes. But RALI is a 3-week-long job interview. We know that sounds like a lot. We promise it doesn't feel like 3 weeks, but it is a comprehensive opportunity for us to really get to know you as a candidate and for you to have multiple opportunities to introduce yourself to us. So week 1 is a 3-hour workshop. It is a group process, so there'll be interactive activities where the facilitators, who are 4 members of our professional staff team, and then we are joined by 8 RAs, 8 current RAs, will lead those activities and also observe as you are going through what you're doing so that we can get a good feel for how you think, how you interact with other people, more about your personality. In between, on week 2, there's a one-on-one interview with one of the members of the professional staff. So you'll get a chance to come into our office, sit down and have what'll feel like a more standard job interview or position interview where we ask you questions, give you a chance to answer, and then obviously leave time for you to ask questions of us. And then we wrap up again with week 3, which is another group process. Both of our group process weeks are very much tied to parts of the position that you would experience if you're appointed to a team. So it's also good practice to give you a feel for what you're signing up for to make sure that it feels right and good to you. So each section of RALI is somewhere between 40 and 50 participants. So you'll be divided into a smaller group of about 10 people. We do numerous sections throughout the process, both in fall and in spring, and a more modified version in January. We'll talk about that in a couple screens. But we have them multiple evening sessions, a few daytime weekday, and then morning and afternoon sessions on weekends. So there's a lot of opportunity to participate depending on what your schedule looks like. No matter what we always hear from our participants, even if they don't come out of it with a position, is that RALI was really useful to them, that they learned things about themselves, they developed some leadership skills. We've had folks tell us that going through RALI helped them with other job interviews. So no matter what else comes, know that the time that you're spending pays off. You get something really good and developmental out of that for yourself, and we think that's really important. You do have to complete all 3 parts to be successful in the RALI process, so we want to make sure that you know that coming in and that you're signing up to participate at a time of year that really works for you. All right, so what does this timeline look like, Matt?
So our timeline runs throughout the entire year. Specifically, and all these dates can be found on our website, but we want to highlight some dates specifically. We have several deadlines for when you can go through the RALI process. Our fall application closes on October 15th. Those folks will go through fall RALI through October into November. Our next application deadline is December 15th, and those folks will go through a J-term spring RALI application process, followed by candidates will be sent those responses in March. So you're doing Rally through January and February, but you're not hearing about your decision until March. Now, what does that mean for people going through Fall Rally? Yes, unfortunately, you have to do Rally and then wait till here until March. So it's a long waiting game, but we assure you that if you go through Rally within the fall, within January, or within February, it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt your application status. It's all equal. We do this so that people can study away, for people coming, returning from study away, and just timelines and schedules in general. So again, you would hear back in March, and spring training would take place in late March, early April.
Great.
As well as your financial aid package, you should know, we just tell people that if you're applying, if you accept the position, or if you're applying, you should know that your financial aid package might change. This is because need-based aid or financial aid could change based off receiving free housing, a meal plan. It could change your status of your need. And so we don't want to give you an answer and possibly give you the wrong answer. So we always recommend that you directly contact financial aid, speak with them. Their number is on the screen here. You can also find them online.
So we mentioned that we do Rally throughout the year because folks are studying away, and we absolutely encourage and hope that you'll get to take that opportunity. So that's how we do Rally in the fall for those of you who are planning to study away in the spring, or if you are something like Global Liberal Studies or another program where you're going to be abroad for an entire school year. We want you to be able to go ahead and do the Rally process before you're going to be away from the Washington Square campus. So specifically, if you are planning to go abroad this coming spring of 2019, and want to be an RA beginning in the fall of 2019, you need to go through our process either in fall, or if your timing works out for your program to do it in January, you could do that. But generally speaking, we want you to go through the process this fall. It's what usually works out with the study away programs. That means that your application is due by October 15th, and you would do Fall Rally in October and November. Like Matt said, that does mean you have kind of a long wait before you find out whether or not you've gotten a position, but it does allow you the opportunity to go abroad and have a great experience. There are also a couple of opportunities to be an RA at some of our global sites. So if you're interested in being an RA at NYU Shanghai or at NYU London, we ask you to go through the Rally process here with us if you are a Washington Square student, so that you can go through the training, go through the process and be seen, and then we work with our partners on those campuses. So for NYU Shanghai, they will be selecting up to 3 RAs for the 2019-2020 school year. And for London, there are a couple of different opportunities. If you go through Rally this fall and you are going to be studying abroad at London in spring 2019 and would like to be an RA there, they will consider appointing you from the Fall Rally process. So again, you want to make sure you go through Fall Rally if you want to be an RA in London this coming spring. They will be selecting 6 RAs for spring and then 6 RAs for fall. So if you go through Rally at any point this school year, you'll be considered for a fall position if that's when you're going to be in London. If you're planning to be there this current spring, we advise you to go through that this fall so that you can have an opportunity to go for that position too. Okay. So one last important detail, we get this question a lot, is how many applicants do we get? What are my chances? Here's the realistic math. So last year, as we did this process for the current school year, we had a total of 973 initial applicants. 642 of those folks went through Rally. Those are people, sometimes we lose people for not having that 3.0 GPA, university standing, other factors. But 642 people total went through. 198 of them were selected and placed. 297 students were offered an alternate status, and 147 were not offered the alternate status, were not offered a position. So realistically, this means that it's a highly competitive process that, as you can see here, a little more than, not even half of the folks who go through our process come out of this with a position. We don't say this to be discouraging. We just like to be honest about the fact that it is competitive, that the numbers are large. And so so that you understand. You get a letter in March that'll say, congratulations, you're being offered a position in a given building, or thank you, you were a great candidate. We don't have a position to offer you now, but we would like to have you be an alternate so that if a position opens later, we can consider appointing you for that. Or a thank you for going through the process, but at this time, we're not going to continue to pursue you. So the bulk of our participants wind up in that alternate status. We absolutely do take people from it throughout the school year. Sometimes people don't accept the position when we offer it to them. Sometimes they leave for whatever reason. Folks aren't able to continue on. So we actually do reappoint throughout the entire school year, and we only appoint people from the alternate pool. So it's not a huge chance, but it's not an impossible chance. And we like to be really honest with that and really straightforward at the get-go. This coming school year, we're going to be looking for about 175 RAs. So mathematically, you sort of see where your chances are. That's sort of what we want to be honest about at the start. But like we said, Rally is a really phenomenal process. Whether or not you come out of it with a position, you're going to come out of it with a really great learning opportunity, a chance to meet other folks, to connect with other students, and hopefully will learn and grow for yourself.
If you have any questions after this webinar, we encourage you to reach out to this email here, as well as all of our information are on our paraprofessional website. Our email is also listed there. Just a reminder that applications are open right now. We encourage you to apply. We hope you apply. And yeah, we'll see you at Rally.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck.